how was your week today? If you're in the Texas, what the heck are you doing? You should be probably getting out, getting GTing the FX. If you're in the didn't start recording until about that. So what I'm saying is, hello everybody. How's it going out there? Well, at least the streams are working. But if you're in Texas and you're watching this, and well, East Texas, I should say, West Texas should be fine. But if you're in the southeast of Texas, you should be GTNF in the O, man. Yeah. Hopefully things go okay down there, and hopefully our president doesn't say anything stupid. But stupid is as stupid does. He'll probably say something stupid. But anyways, enough politics for this week. We're here to play a game. We're here to play a game. A game. Let's see. I'm gonna tweet out the stream to the Twitters. See, continuing major minor playthrough. What is Max up to tonight? What is she up to tonight indeed? Indeed. Well, we have one person in. We're gonna give it about another minute or so. So that people can get out of Houston. Because Houston, you got a problem. A big problem. Harvey problem. Not good. Not good at all. Hopefully people being safe down there and getting the heck out. I don't want to be writing no more furry obits this year. Not a single dang one. Alright, so what happened last time on Major Minor? Well, Maxine played her hand and forced us to make a decision. More hard decisions to come. The decision of having to take the right of Rook or the squirrel dude. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Sorry, squirrel dude, that I saved. I saved your life, though. That should mean something. I saved your life, and I don't even know your name. I'm so sorry, dude. But you know, the Rook guy, I know the Rook guy, nah, but he's gone, because I said not gonna save him, because I had to make a decision like that, because Max is such, well, she literally is a canine, so it's okay to call her a bitch, right? Yeah, I think it is. It's her species, man. Not that she's like killing people or anything. But anyways, let's continue our little story. So last time they were like, apparently she has some dirt on Archeron too, so she's gonna use that to her advantage. Velasquez trembles in fear, unsure of what to say for the first time in ages. I didn't. You didn't? Well, who the heck is this dude? Ya didn't what? Expect us so soon? Or perhaps you didn't expect us at all. I must say, I thought you'd be dead. Seeing you is quite the surprise, father. Velasquez takes a step back. He clutches his scepter, prepared to defend himself. Oh, so that's how it is. Living off the power in that scepter. But it looks like it's running dry. Tell me, do your subjects know the truth of their existence? Or the truth of yours? Something tells me you're still deceitful. And the volume is still very loud on this music, even though I turned it down to like 20%. Hopefully you're fixing that in the next game, guy. Velasquez. Just as I thought. Old habits die hard, I suppose. I'm surprised you maintain this facade. Nagi, please. Please what? Don't tell me. I love to see you grovel. You should beg for your pitiful existence. I only need more time. This world will be saved by my hand. By your hand? Don't be ridiculous. Everything you touch meets a plagued end. And soon, Takamagahara will fall, if I said that right. Or whatever it is you call this place now, or however you pronounce it. You can't change the truth of your world. You have a kingdom that houses the dead. Father, you rule over a rotting corpse. Your subjects are nothing but maggots. They writhe through its cavities for succor. For succor? What the hell? I've never heard that word before. So tell me, how can you save something long since dead? Something built on the carrion of your woe? It's possible. I beg for your lenience. Don't make me laugh. You've become a pitiful man, Velasquez. You're not even fit to be in the position of rule. Your world is in my hands now. I will teach your people one simple fact. Salvation can only be found through destruction. Nagi pushes Velasquez away, laughing loudly. His laughter echoes through the halls of the castle. Nami! Sister, we must go. Yes, brother. It's time for some divine intervention. Well, these characters just popped out of nowhere. And looking super evil at that. Kalen grips the bars of his prison cell. Kabu remains fast asleep, fatigue taking over. I should have done some review of the voices of Terra, since I knew I was going to come back here, but I've forgotten the voices completely, since it's been like 3 weeks since I've had to use them. Oh no, that's no good. Really? What makes you think I'd do that? You're the one who stuffed us down here. It was a lapse in judgment. Surely you can understand, Kalen. These things happen all the time. That's so. You let people starve in your cellar often? That's a pretty big admission of guilt. No, that's not what I meant. I meant that people often make mistakes. You should learn to word things better. You think you know being a politician. Or is Riley not here to pull your strings? Kalen, there's no need to mock me. I'm willing to pay for your services. I need protection. This has gone too far. I don't need you to understand my business. I offer protection for money, yes, but only to those who deserve it. You locked us up in here, and you continue to let us starve. Kabu is on the verge of death, you know. By Riley's orders. Players shouts echo across the cellar. Kalen is shocked at his sudden outburst. Please understand, Kalen. It's not Riley's orders that bring me now. It's my defiance. My own free will. I know what needs to be done. I must step down from this election. And the threat of Riley must be quelled. Please. Player grips the prison bars as well, trembling. I want you to guarantee my safety. I want you to end Riley's life. I'm not an assassin, player. You cannot pay me to kill somebody. But Riley is a threat to my safety. You are paid to ensure that safety. Kaylin, I fail to see the difference. You Antifa now? Oh, no, that's too... Hello, Golden. How's it going? Welcome back. Oh, 5 watching now. Ooh. You're still a murderer. You just validate it in your own way. I didn't come here to argue semantics. You can keep your money. The payment will be our freedom. I can't protect you from behind this cell. And you can't leave Gaboo to die. Of course. I'll retrieve the key from Riley's chambers. I expect you'll be free within the day. But I'm holding you to your word. If I start to doubt you, I will kill you. Kaylin is unaffected by the threat. Player glances over at Gaboo and stops to think. Hey, yeah, you told me you'd be back. Thank you for coming back. Wait. I feel you've come to terms with death. A mercenary can't be expected to live forever. If I doubt you, Gaboo will die. It will pain me, but it's necessary. I need a guarantee of your compliance. Watch your tongue, player. Your life will be in my hands. You don't want to take advantage of me. Oh, but I think I do. He releases his grips on the bars and turns away. Make yourself ready. I expect armed opposition. But I don't have anything. You confiscated all of my weapons. I'm sure you'll think of something. I'd hate for your freedom to be short-lived. He walks away without another word. Kaylin turns to Gaboo, worried of what may happen. Don't worry, Gaboo. I won't let him touch you, no matter what happens here. Sure. Nope, I hit no. Oopsies. Chapter 7, The Paths We Walk. We're coming to the conclusion, because according to the achievements, there's about 10 chapters. That's all about I know. Keela. Ah, that's your name, Keela. I remember you now. Keela remains in the chair, breathing erratically. A sense of disbelief washes over him. Rook? Rook is gone? He immediately moves the bomb away from his lap. Then he gazes down at the rope on the floor. The events of the rescue play repeatedly in his mind. And I was chosen instead? He quickly raises from the chair, scanning the room. He notices the heavily damaged doors, a sign of the effort they went through to save him. I can't believe this. Why would he choose me over Rook? A wave of guilt bombards him. He presses himself against the nearby wall and sighs. Max was right. I've been lying to everybody all along. They don't even know who I really am. They didn't save who they thought they did. This is all my fault. If I was honest, they would have picked Rook. But he's dead because they liked me more? They don't even know the real me. Slams his fist against the wall, crying softly. I knew my act would cause harm. But I never thought it would be this much. I'll never be able to tell them the truth. If they knew they saved a liar, they'd never forgive me. They'd shun me. Hits the wall again. His paw is on fire with pain, but he doesn't care. I hate you, Max! He sniffles and pushes himself away from the wall. Before he can act any further, he hears voices outside. Huh? There are people moving around already? I thought everyone would be scared stiff. He walks to the door frame and peeks his head outside. Is that Archeron talking? But wait, I hear a female voice as well. He starts to listen more intently, but as if they could tell, their voice is silent. He shrugs and peeks out a little further. Huh? I guess I have to see for myself. He steps out of the room, focusing on his silence. In search of the voices, he treads down the hallway. It isn't much longer until he finds Archron. But much to his confusion, he stands there alone. Huh? I swear I heard another voice. Hello, Kayla. What were you saying? I'm afraid my mind is all over the place. Oh, nothing. I think I was just hearing things. That's normal. You're all in shock after all. I'm surprised to see you even standing. Well, I heard some voices, so I wanted to come see who it was. I didn't expect anyone to be moving yet. Where's Tantroo? He's resting. He passed out right after. But personally, I hate wasting time. There's still an investigation to be done. Investigation? Of course. The entire building is now a crime scene. And you know what a crime scene is, right? It's a bad thing, isn't it? Yes, Kayla. It's a very bad thing. But it's also a story waiting to be told. It's a mystery begging to be solved. So I have to ask, will you help me solve it? Well, I want to stay by your side. Only a fool would leave protection behind, so whatever that entails, I'll do it. Just as long as you keep me safe. Nah, don't do that. That's not my voice. That's Archron's voice. Don't switch back and forth. Of course, Kayla. That's what I'm here to do. Alright, so what's the next step? Well, a disaster has occurred, so we need to determine its scope. Scope? Yes. Attacks are rarely isolated incidents. We need to find out if everyone's safe. The killer could have done anything while our attention was solely put on those bombs. I guess you're right, as bad as that sounds. Don't worry, it's just a precaution. I'm sure everyone will be fine. But after that, we need to talk to Singe. Talk to Singe? About what? Well, Kayla, I feel like this has gone on long enough. It's time to leave this convention center. Leaving the con early? Oh no! Velasquez brings himself to his feet. He shouts in an attempt to stop Nagi from leaving. Wait, please don't do this. You're still conscious? Father, why don't you just give up? You can't justify the salvation of Terra. But Terra houses billions, Nagi. You can't just condemn them to death. Father, they're already dead. You need to let go of these people. You're clinging to spirits. Unless you plan on using their energy. Is that why you've been housing so many? I've heard about your rule, Father. You lie to the world, playing the immortal. I could kill you right now if I wanted to. Then why haven't you? I want you to watch this world crumble. I want to see your hope wither away. It's your turn to be used as a pawn. This isn't the time for vengeance, Nagi. Please, just listen to me. I know that you have reason within you. Reason? I can't say that I do. But I will hear what you have to say. I'm curious how you've justified this. You know how many worlds are out there, each living a solitary existence. What if we could all be united? You mean the Exodus Project? I've heard of your failure, Father. Why would this time be any different? Failure? I'm not sure about that. Nobody knew my true intent. I assure you, the project succeeded. What? Yes. And now it's time for me to reap. I've waited so long for this day, Nagi. the galaxy can finally unite as one entity. So you're really gonna open connections? Unleash your specters across the galaxy? Father, that would be devastating. I'm more inclined to side with Lord Player. No one should come into contact with Terra. You've created a truly disgusting world. But at the same time, you have power. Is that what you've been doing, Father? Collecting souls from Earth to harvest? That's twisted, even for you. I can feel the energy growing within Terra. Means to an end, Nagi. Our thinking isn't so different after all. If they're already dead, what do we lose? Their final act would be our salvation. A grand way to go, I'd say. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I would use this power for other means. Thanks for telling me, Father. Didn't think you'd be such an easy target. So it's a race then, to see who can unleash this power first. I have to say, I'm glad it's come to this. Yes, I suppose you're right. But I know exactly who will win, and I've placed all of my hope on it. Did I save game? Yes, and there was no major decisions. It was all narrative, so we're on overwrite. Question mark, question mark, question mark. Where am I? What's going on? Wasn't I supposed to be in Terra by now? Last time this happened, it was almost instant. But I don't feel the rush of inertia either. It's almost as if I'm not moving at all. That's certainly counterproductive, especially if I was needed in Terra. I hear a voice, and I feel my feet touch the ground. Who was calling out to me? Was someone calling out to me? I quickly face the direction that it came from. It sounds like someone panicking, calling for help. But as I chase after it, it gets worse. Suddenly that voice multiplies. It isn't long until I can't even hear my own thoughts. It's as if a million voices are bombarding me all at once. The sheer volume brings me to my knees. I cover my ears, but this does next to nothing. It's almost like the voices were in my own head. Are these voices of people I have to save? Or could it be something else? What's going on? I scream, begging them to stop, but nothing happens. The cacophony of voices continues to assault me. It feels like an eternity before they start to subside. But when they do, I'm utterly confused. The sight before me hurts my mind even more. Oh, it's Rocker. Oh god, what voice did I give you? You're dead, dude. Hey, Tantroo. Glad to see you again. Rocker? But didn't Singe say he was murdered? With everything else that happened, I thought Max did it. You're right. Max did kill me. I hate myself for trusting her like that. But it's already done. I can't go back. I asked him what he's doing here. I wonder if he knows where we are. I really don't know anything. In fact, I was gonna ask you. Seems like you're important. Ever since Max killed me, it's almost like we're connected. I've been seeing things through your eyes. But I've been hearing all these voices too. So I don't think I'm the only one. Seeing things through my eyes. That doesn't make any sense to me. There are way too many voices, but sometimes you can just make them out. They're definitely watching you as well. It's one of the reasons I'm not scared. I don't feel like I'm really dead. Like, perhaps I can get out of here. Do you know anything about that? I would really like to go home. A lot of people miss me right now. I have to give him the bad news. In fact, I was just as confused as he was. That's unfortunate. I was hoping you'd have some information. But I guess that was too much to ask for. He starts to fade away. Well, I keep thinking one thing. If this is really the afterlife, then maybe I'll get to meet him again. Hey, don't go. We still need to talk. I shout as loud as I can. But it seems like my desire would go unfulfilled. Because I didn't develop a relationship with Rocker enough. Oh no. Oh no, am I on a path to a bad ending? And soon enough, I feel the familiar rush of inertia. I quickly turn back and shout his name, but at that point, I feel like I'd never see him again. What was Rocker doing here? And why were there so many voices? I could tell that I was getting close to Tara, but this time I'd arrive with nothing but regret. That, and an unfathomable amount of questions. Well, there's another issue too, because Rook and me aren't on good terms either. So, you had a chat with Kalen? I assume that everything went as planned? Yes, Riley. He believes I will set them free, in exchange for protection from you. Excellent. The trap is sprung. I have to say I ill relish in their deaths. Kalen and Kabu have been a major thorn, but it gets even better than that, player. Righty is en route as we speak. Same goes for Endymon and Conrad. All of the opposition in one place. It won't be too hard to take them out. And you think I wanted you to get caught? I'm sorry for that, Riley. The evidence just lined up. I see now that you only wanted to help. Today all my enemies will perish. You are a master strategist. I couldn't have done this alone. And to think I had you all wrong. You'll actually save me in the end. I'm grateful to have you by my side. And I'm grateful to serve. But we can't just stop at them. Your entire prison is full, remember? Right? All of those immigrants. We must ensure none of them are freed. If they get out, they will testify. What would you advise? We can't have them talking. I'm glad you asked, and I've come with a great solution. You're going to burn down the house. The flames will ensure nobody talks. I'll move Kalen's corpse to the front yard. It won't be hard to plant some evidence. Evidence that will frame King Velasquez. People will desire his death, and this time, he won't have any protection. Not from Righty, or Endymon, or Conrad. When he is murdered, the throne is yours. You'll be king before the next week is out. Can't believe you planned for all of this. Now I know why you've been so secretive. You couldn't have afforded any objections. Yeah, I know, this game's getting pretty dark pretty quick, man. Wow. So many evil people plotting evil things all at once. Precisely. It's required for some very careful planning, and everybody has a weakness of some sort. Right, he has a weakness for Kalen. Kalen has a weakness for Kabu. And that special earthling in our cell, well, that's Endymon and Conrad's weakness. It didn't take much to line everything up. Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, so I gotta back up a little bit because I'm remembering myself just now too. Because it's been a few weeks since we traversed Terra, but basically my body, because I've been to Terra before, and I got knocked unconscious by this Riley dude, and that's when I went back to Tokyo Earth through that time thingy. So my body is still in the cells, apparently. Because my body's back in Tokyo now, too, because I quote-unquote passed out. So apparently your body remains behind, which is interesting. So with that, I say there are no more obstacles. Why don't you join me for a drink? To the reign of our new king, Clea. Yes, to the reign of our new king. Take save game. Yes, overwrite because no decisions were made. Eclair stands in front of the conference room. She presses her paw up to the charred door. Oh God, you think it's dark now? Oh, this is about to get really, really, really dark.
So, this is where it happened? I wish it didn't have to be like this. Not when things were finally changing.
She recalls the time they spent together, savoring it now, as it will never happen again.
Why would Tantroo do this? Especially after having that talk. He told me that people could reconnect. And then he goes and does this to me? It doesn't make any sense. Why give me hope and then take it away?
How does she know that I had to make that? Oh yeah, because it was over the loudspeakers. I didn't take that into consideration. God, am I a dick.
Rook, I don't understand. Please come back and tell me why.
She slams her fist against the door. Some of the blackened wood starts to crack. Archon and Keela cautiously enter the scene.
Eclair, what are you doing here?
She turns around startled, wiping away her tears. She hopes Keela doesn't notice.
I came here to see Rook. I heard what happened on the news. I needed to see if he was okay. But I guess he's far from it now. I know everything that happened. It was as clear as day on the loudspeaker.
Oh, she's gonna blame him. Oh, no. This is gonna go bad. This is gonna go bad.
I didn't know. Eclair, I'm so sorry.
Are you? Are you really?
Huh? This is gonna go bad.
After what just happened? Well, you're still alive, Keela. I doubt that you really feel sorry. If you cared about Rook so much, then you would have begged for his life. I bet that you're happy he died. After all, it was either him or you.
But
don't give me any excuses, Keela. You're happy to be alive, I know it. If you say you aren't, then you're lying. But if you're really happy to be alive, it means that Rook's death makes you happy.
Eclair, it's not that way at all. My feelings aren't connected like that. Though I can see where you're coming from.
I don't think you can. What do you know about loss? You barely even know about our past. And I know you're friends with Tantroo. You two could have planned this together. Would have made it easier for him to choose.
Eclair, you need to stop. Thinking like this will only hurt you.
No, it's not me that needs to stop. You're the one that needs to stop, Keela. You and your stupid little friend.
What?
You two have only been here for a day. You've done nothing but hurt me. I know I can't be the only one. Back at the cafe, I hid my feelings. I don't know why. Maybe out of respect? Whatever it was, I don't feel it anymore. The both of you can go to hell. I don't want to see your faces again. You will get a lifetime ban from Cafe Shot.
She storms out of the room, violently pushing Keela.
Wait, Eclair, you can't leave.
He starts to chase after her, but Archon interjects.
Keela, you should let her go. What about the weapons?
I don't think she has to worry. The poor girl just got caught up in this. I doubt the killer has it out for her.
So what? She'll just leave the building?
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. And we need to talk to Singe, Kayla. Because soon, we'll be doing the same. It's not going to be the most pleasant place to wake up. Yep. My vision returns slowly, along with my sense of touch. I'm greeted to a damp floor beneath me. My hands rest in a puddle of moisture and I shiver. Good luck burning this place down. It's all damp, dude. Much colder than I expected. Then I return to the hotel room. I concentrate, trying to remember what happened. And that's when all the unpleasant memories assault me. Attacked by a servant of Lord Player. He must have taken me here after choking me unconscious. But where am I exactly? That's what confuses me. As I try to remember, I bring myself to my knees. I brace myself on a nearby wall for support. I don't think I'm a prisoner, as I'm not chained up. I look around frantically. My stomach growls. Wherever I am, there's definitely a shortage of food. After a few moments pass, I bring myself to my feet. It looks like it took a little while longer to regather strength. I make my way to the door of the cell. And of course, it's locked. Why wouldn't it be? The hope that existed for a moment is quickly shattered. I grip the bars as if by instinct. A moment later, I see something in the corner of my eye. A shadow slowly walks across my field of vision. I back away. I don't want them to notice me. My only assumption is that this is some sort of guard. I can see them turn around and make their way back, but suddenly something intercepts their path. I can see a shapely silhouette of a woman. Upon seeing them, the guard calls out in shock. It's very apparent that she's not supposed to be here. But she knows this as well and takes action. A swift and stylish punch to the throat silences him. He gasps for air and falls to the ground, helpless.
I hate it when they go down easy. It's no fun without a fight.
The guard tries crawling away, fearing for his life. But she crouches down and punches his face into the dirt.
So, do you have any last words? Something that can change my mind? I'm not all about killing, you know.
I watch the guard squirm in an attempt to speak, but it's quite clear that she's mocking him. She pulls out a blade and then quickly slits his throat. The floor becomes stained with a fountain of blood. Man, she is ruthless.
I hope that you find peace in death.
At this point, my back is against the wall. I see her fiddle with her pocket and find some keys, with his pocket and find some keys. After inspecting them closely, she turns to me.
What are you doing all the way back there? Do you not want to get out or something? Come a little closer. Let me see that pretty face of yours.
After a pause, she looks back at the guard.
Oh, don't worry. You're not going to end up like him. I'm being paid handsomely to keep you alive.
She fiddles with the lock, and I become more relaxed. After a few more moments pass, the cell door opens.
Gosh, there is so much blood. And people wonder why I wear red. Get up, love. You're coming with me.
She smiles at me and helps me get to my feet. But this was all too confusing to take in stride.
What? Is something wrong? Don't get cold feet, dear.
Not when we're so close to the end. I'm not scared, I'm just confused. I have no idea who she is or who's paying her. I decide that these are good questions to open with.
Well, you can call me Sam, but your other question has a longer answer. So let's move on. I hate wasting time.
She immediately runs off, expecting me to follow. I guess I didn't have much choice in the matter. I just hope that she had I just have to hope that she's forthcoming with the rest. The amount of grammatical errors in this game astounds me. The number of fragmented sentences. This is something I brought up in an earlier episode, and it still sort of persists. Like, literally, like, this is made in... I can tell this is made in RPG Maker, because I've worked with RPG Maker back when I was in college. And, like, there is a limit to the lines, but you can tell, like, he's working within that restriction, because, like, if you look at these sentences and you look at the majority of the sentences, there's no... They're mostly fragments, and they mostly don't go beyond, like, 6 or 7 words. So that's an issue, too. There's other things like character development of, like, reporters, like the reporter character I'm not too fond of. There's some critiques. They did win an Ursa Major for this one. They are planning on making another one, so I hope that, you know, they do improve. But yeah, there are some grammatical errors. There was like 1 or 2 spelling errors. Yeah, so there's that. So I follow her in search of answers and freedom. Would you like to save your game? Yes. No decisions yet still. And we are, and this is another critique I have of this game. Not a lot of decisions being made. It is very much a visual novel. There are some decisions you get to make, and they do have an impact. One of the biggest ones was the last episode, but not too many. I did play Dragon Scaly with Angel Wings, and that one had a lot. I think it did the format a little bit better, but it was released this year, so. But anyways, back to the game. The first thing I noticed is more cell doors. And another thing I kind of critique, the backgrounds. Like, and I never really pulled notice of this before, because now I'm in critique mode. Thank you very much. This right here, this image, like, look at the floors here. Like, this looks like a modern prison, right? This looks like a prison that's basically these days, like it's the 50s or something like that. Whereas the prison that I was in before clearly was like an underground castle, dungeon-esque sort of setting, so it kind of is juxtaposing a little bit. The first thing I noticed is more cell doors, like we were in some sort of prison block. And guess what? He probably Googled image prison block and put an image there. That's kind of harsh. Yeah, I'm a writer too, so. Yeah. Could this really be Lord Player's residence? I noticed Sam isn't too far away, so I inch towards her.
Took you long enough. Not like our lives are on the line.
She crosses her arms and taps her foot. Excuse me for not having unconditional trust. There are some questions I'd like to have answered.
I already told you my name is Sam. Just stick to my side and you won't die. I'm being paid to keep you alive, remember? We can always part ways when I deliver you. Trust me, I'm not enjoying this either. But I couldn't turn down a bonus like that.
That was one of my main questions, actually. Who was paying for her to secure my safety? And did she end up rescuing Kaylin from these cells?
Sorry, Kaylin was nowhere to be found. And you mean you don't know who paid me? You must be more oblivious than I thought.
Where are there so many hyphens where commas go? I don't know. It's I know Ocean Tigrox gets angry at ellipses.
Does the name Righty ring a bell? He gave me quite a generous offer. Normally I'd refuse, but not this time.
I got offers from other people as well. And by the way, he's using the double hyphen instead of the Alt 0151 key code, which is the elongated hyphen, which is more for pauses. Just writing tip there.
Eddymon and Conrad's their names were. You're quite popular on Terra, Tantroo. But money talks, and they were too quiet. I had to take Righty's offer in the end. I'm told that you two go back a little bit.
So I guess Righty went through with his attack. But I guess it's easier to do with a team. I take this as confirmation that we're in Player's home.
Yeah, he shouldn't be too far away. When I deliver you to him, I'm out of here. I'll be set for life after all this.
She gestures broadly at the open cell doors.
I have no idea why he held prisoners. But Righty paid a bonus for their lives. It won't be long before they expose Player.
After a few moments of walking, we reached a door. I can only assume that this was the exit.
Righty should be right out this door. Sadly, I can't get involved any further. I'll find a way out somewhere else. But trust me, we'll meet again. And maybe we can have more fun.
Sam runs off, brushing her shoulder on the way out. I'm left alone with a large door in front of me. Could I trust her? What if this was a trap? Oh, why would she let me out of the prison if it was a trap? I look behind me, and she's already gone. I guess I don't have any other option. I open the door and hope that Righty awaits me. Would you like to save your game? Sure. Like, they're doing that frequently, and, like, with no choices in between. I mean, saving frequently is good, since you can only save at the save points. I immediately notice how large this cellar is. Player and Riley have a massive operation at play. It's wet and humid down here, not cared for. And that should be a semicolon, if anything, or if not its own sentence. I take a few steps forward and scan the area. Man, now I'm never going to be able to unsee this. Thank you very much, Epitome. Oh, man. Take a few steps forward and scan the area. Didn't Sam say that Righty would be here? I look everywhere, but I can't find him at all. Hey. And just like the cellar, he pops up behind me. It doesn't scare me as much, but my heart still pounds. I don't think he could have picked a worse time. Oh, I frightened you, I'm sorry. I'm trying to tread lightly in here. He looks behind me as if expecting to see someone. Was Kilo back there by any chance? He disappeared around the same time as you. I let him know that Kilo was back on Earth. He experienced a traumatic event as well. He shouldn't expect Kilo to come back to Terra. He left Terra? Now, notice that what he did there. He was vague. He said Keela experienced a traumatic event back on Earth, and he won't be returning. Now, because in the earlier chapter, I got to choose who died was Rook or Keela, the tragic event is sort of broadened so that whether or not I chose Keela to be the one to come, to save Keela or to save Rook, that Keela would not be here. So, ironically, one of the big choices I made for Keela living was because he was helping me on Terra, and ironically, I guess he's not going to be helping me because obviously it kind of makes it tricky to make a branch like that in the game. So it's kind of like one of those big decisions that really affects the storyline, not really affecting the Terra line as much as I thought it would. So, I guess well played, but I saw kind of through it because there's, agency and decisions. I play a lot of choosy games, so I know this kind of style and how to make things function like that. So anyways, back to the story. He left Terra? But that's impossible. Our connection isn't open that way. I emphasize that I'm telling the truth. I had no reason to lie to him after all, but before waking up, I was back on Earth as well. You went back too? I nod. I don't get it. That's impossible. It would explain the king's interest in you. Perhaps there is more to you, Tantroo. He crosses his arms, losing himself in thought. You must have seen Sam, right? I hired her to help me out today. She was supposed to rescue any prisoners, but there were just so many. I don't know a player was capable of this. His hatred truly knows no bounds. Sam saved me before she left the manor, yeah. And I should probably tell Riley the truth. It isn't Lloyd Player behind this, it's Riley. At least he's been the one pulling the strings. But before I can, we hear a crashing noise, and it sounds like it's coming from upstairs. I look to Righty and ask what we should do. We need to investigate. I think Player already has Kalen. He wasn't in any of the cells. Just like Sam mentioned, that worries me. We can do this, Tantroo. Together, we're going to expose the king. He hands me a sword. Wait a minute, we're going to expose the king? Or Velasquez? Like, because Velasquez is the king, Player isn't the king. Player is Player. He's, I think they made a conceptual error there. Ooh, that's no good. It's like, Righty, Player's not the king. That's Velasquez. Player's just sort of running for mayor. Player's running for mayor. Remember, it rhymes? I don't know. Anyways, he hands me a sword, and I don't know what to do with it. I really hope he wasn't expecting me to fight. We don't have enough budget to put in combat into this game, guys. Are you crazy? You're crazy, man. We don't have the budget. The art of swordplay has been lost on Earth. Don't worry, just make fancy quips. Do it like what the heck is it called? Monkey Island. Do it like the Monkey Island does. Just, you know, have little quip battles, and if you make better quips, then... Anyways, before I could say anything else, he runs off. I follow him to the best of my ability, and it isn't long until we get upstairs. I'm baffled by how large this place really is. It's a stunning counterpoint to the Wayfarer's Tavern, and for that matter, the society I saw before. Is this really what the upper class was like here? Calling it a mansion would be an understatement. It's a veritable labyrinth and showcase of wealth. We turn corners until we arrive at a large atrium. I suppose that we're tracking down the noise we heard. And sure enough, it's Endymion and Conrad. They immediately turn to us and drawing their weapons.
Righty, hand over the Savior. I don't want to fight you today.
I'm afraid I can't do that. We're here to rescue Kalen. After today, Velasquez is exposed.
Okay, so we did mean the king. My bad.
You just won't give up, will you? There's nothing you need to expose.
Endymion draws his dagger and lunges towards Righty. Righty quickly weaves to the side and punches his gut. Endymion stumbles backward, winded. A lucky hit.
You need to stop being so blind. The king wanted Kalen imprisoned. If I don't save him, he'll die. Lord Player is a relentless killer. There's no way Kalen could escape.
Righty draws his axe and holds it forward.
Help me take down Player and rescue Kalen. If you don't, then you're our enemy.
What do you mean, our enemy? The Savior is on our side, you know.
Endymion takes a fighting stance looking at me.
It's not true, Endymion. Tantroo chose to side with me yesterday. Even he saw through Velasquez's facade.
Spouting lies as usual. You'll do anything to get your way. But not this time, Righty.
He lunges toward Righty once again, but this time I take action. I jump in the way and hold out my sword. Endymion stops in his tracks, dangerously close.
Don't tell me it's true. We went through so much for you.
I tell Endymion that he's overthinking things. Siding with Righty was safer than rushing to the king. I had no idea what he wanted with me, and it was scary. But rescuing Kalen would reveal the king's intent. If the king was truly evil, I'd stay away. But if he wasn't, then we could venture to him safely. Saving Kalen was more like flipping a coin to me. Better than rushing, and against unfathomable odds. I came from another world and I couldn't be sure. I needed to know Velasquez's true nature first. If our situations were reversed, he'd do the same. This seems like a good explanation for him. He sheathes his dagger and assumes a neutral stance.
Very well. I trust you. But we don't have time to rescue Kalen.
Like hell you don't. Taking down Player is what you wanted. Helping me will accomplish that too.
This is where I decide to tell them the truth. Lord Player wasn't behind all this, it was Riley. He played the role of advisor and controlled him.
What?
Are you serious?
But we saw the bloodied rags. We know Lord Player attacked you. That's why we came here to begin with.
Before I can continue, we hear noises upstairs. As if on cue, Riley enters the scene.
I'm surprised you didn't see it, Endymion. You work with fake evidence all the time. But let's get things moving, shall we? I'm tired of your endless bickering.
He turns around and grabs something from behind him. Or wait, he grabs someone from behind him. Endymion and Riley immediately take a fighting stance. This must be Kalen.
You can't put aside your differences. Not even when lives are on the line.
Kalen squirms in his grip, clearly overpowered. Riley holds him still and places a knife to his throat. You all think you've won, but you couldn't be more wrong. Soon, this entire building will burn. There won't be any proof left behind, and I'll hunt down the prisoners you saved, just as soon as I slit Kalen's throat. But not here. I have a plan. Come chat with me and Lord Player. One last chance to resolve things. No matter what, there will be death. And the outcome will decide our election. Today, the throne will be secured. Oh, is this another one of those 50-50 choices things? Yo, still listening, just working with all the meats. Ah, the meats! The salami's not going to cut themselves, Mr. Strangeloves. He slowly backs out of the room holding his hostage. I look at everyone beside me. I'm not sure what to do. Don't get in trouble, by the way. I'm not worth the trouble. Don't be listening to me at work if it's going to get you in trouble, sir.
So it's true.
He really is the one behind this.
They both look at me.
Thank you for telling us the truth.
Yeah, otherwise we'd have killed Player.
I shrug and tell them it's not really relevant anymore. No matter who's in charge, we have a decision to make.
Should we go after Riley?
Or is this some kind of trap?
They both cross their arms and ponder in unison. Which, yeah, they always look like they're crossing their arms in unison. I noticed that even Conrad is staying out of this. Are they working together? Never thought I'd see that. We have to play
the odds, Endyman.
What do you mean?
We can follow after Riley. If we do, there's a chance Kalen will live. But if we assume it's a trap and then leave, Kalen will die for sure.
If I do this, will you hand me the savior?
Which, by the way, if anyone hasn't watched this previous things, they're referring to myself, my own character, because apparently I'm some sort of important dude or something. If you couldn't tell from context.
Is this how much Kalen means to you?
Brady pauses and looks at me. It's odd how Endyman didn't even ask my opinion.
You ask too much of me, Endyman. Tantroo choose to come with me freely.
Righty, you are making a mistake. The fate of Terra is at stake here. Stakes. Lots of stakes. There's far more than the fate of Kalen. Please, let the Savior come with me. This will save both Kalen and Terra. Saving Kalen is useless on its own. I will help you if you give me the Savior. Otherwise, I will take them by force.
Oh, thank you for assuming my pronouns, sir.
Jesus, man.
Them? Didn't they ask? They asked me. Oh, that's a mistake, too. That's actually a mistake, because they did ask me my gender, like, in the second chapter. They asked me if I was a male or a female, I believe. So, using them as sort of a catch-all, just in case the player is a male or a female, actually doesn't work in this case. And if that was what they were doing. Oops. Yeah, so them is fair, but it is something, it's sort of a not quite a, well, yeah, no, but here's the thing, Epitome, yeah, like they did ask me if I was a male or a female in the second chapter, I do believe. I'd have to go back and watch the videos. So the game should know whether to use him or her. But them is fair, I guess, but who knows. Anyways, back on topic. This will kill both you and Kalen. Wait. I should have reread the whole thing anyway. Endyman returns to a fighting stance. Do I truly mean that much to him and Conrad? Get a room, man.
Endyman, you know what I do for a living. I protect the lives of others. To that end, you have me at an impasse. If I fight, you too would kill me. Then you would take the Savior away. This would leave Kalen to his doom. But if I gave you the savior, everyone has a chance to live. You should become a politician, you know. You're great at screwing people over, making them go against their values.
Anyone changes the subject, choosing not to respond. I feel like I'm just some sort of commodity now. Especially since they used a gender-neutral term when referring to myself. I mean, geez Louise. But to be honest, anywhere is safer than here. So if saving everyone means leaving Righty, that's okay.
A temporary alliance, then.
A temporary alliance.
They shake hands, but both parties seem hesitant, as if physical contact between them is uncomfortable.
We tried working together once, Righty. Let's hope it ends up better this time.
So just like that, I'm back with Enimon and Conrad. I can't say I'm surprised after all. The mission I sided with Righty for would be completed. Kalen would be freed, and I'd know Velasquez's intent. If his intent was evil, Kalen could testify. But if it wasn't, then I'd gladly help. It seems like all the bases are finally covered. They start walking up the stairs, full of purpose. I turn to Conrad, who still seems to be processing this. So what? I'm the third wheel now? They could have picked a better time. He growls as he follows suit. Soon enough, we're all ascending the stairs. Well, technically he's the fourth wheel. I'm always the third wheel, because I talk in exposition. Anyways, when we reach the top, we notice the door is open. We all stare at each other, exchanging reassuring nods. In this moment, we were united. Our goal was clear. And with that resolve, we ventured forward. Would you like to save your game? Yes. And yeah, we have not made a single gosh dang decision this whole time. It has been a full-on hour. As soon as we enter the room, we separate. We all stand in a line, facing towards Riley and Player, in this very modern-looking ballroom. But it seems like there's like, it's weird. Isn't it weird? Like, particularly this episode, like it goes from like hand-drawn sort of art to like literally a photo, and it's done that twice, and my brain is going, like it was you know, it was manageable before, but now it's just like it's just something that's jumping out at me, man. As soon as we enter the room, we separate. We all stand in a line, facing towards Riley and Player, but it seems like they made a quick switch. Player now holds Kalen hostage, and Riley Kaboo. Oh no, they're gonna tell me to choose one, aren't they? I examine their faces and notice a disparity. Riley seems calm and collected, completely unfazed, but Player looks around in panic, fidgeting awkwardly. Riley's leadership was now more apparent than ever.
Riley, what do you want? You're cornered, and there's more of us.
I want to secure the throne, Endyman. That's all I've ever wanted.
This is something you can never do. You need to give up before it's too late. Riley, we can negotiate for your life. Killing you and Player isn't our goal. We only ever wanted to end your campaign. Just give up, and you could still live.
Got a belch in there.
I'm afraid it's too late for that. All our prisoners are already freed. It won't be long before they start talking. And after that, they'll want vengeance. Living in fear isn't living at all. We would never truly be safe from harm. But it's good to know you're not hiding. We were sick of pretending not to know. It's so obvious that you belong to the king. This works in your favor, Riley. We can have him make a public statement. He'll announce your innocence to everyone. He would gladly make a statement like that, especially if you surrendered your campaign. At that point, you'd be a free man.
I notice that player has calmed down by now. It seems like he likes what he's hearing. Riley, on the other hand, seems surprised. You really think you can do that? Of course. It would be simple. But we want protection too. A place to stay, guarded at all times. Don't press your luck, Riley. It's you that shouldn't be pressing. He presses his blade up to Kaboo's throat, smirking. Fine, but you two have to stand down. That includes handing over Kaylin and Kaboo. Player and Riley exchange glances before nodding. We have to do this my way, Endyman. You can come get Kaboo from me directly, slowly, and with no sudden movements. Riley, gosh, so high maintenance. I know, right? I mean, look how he dresses. And after that, Conrad can get Kaylin. Then you'll escort us all to a safe place. I need to ensure that you're not lying. We'll be at the back of the group. No one can be behind us. I know the true nature of you two.
Afraid I'll stab you in the back?
He didn't say that, by the way, if you're listening and not watching. Endymon and Conrad exchange glances at this time. Conrad looks worried, but Endymon looks confident. It was complicated, but this might all end peacefully. I doubt it. I'm going to walk towards you now. I'll raise my arms so I can't attack. When I get there, you hand over Kaylin. Riley nods and Endymon starts his walk. Riley looks on, unsure of what to think. But if things went awry, I'm sure he'd attack. Slower, Endymon. There's no need to move so fast. He obeys instantly, almost like a puppet. Riley watches in fright as the assassin approaches him. I can see Conrad grip his sword just in case. Kaboo and Kaylin, everything will be okay. I promise this won't last much longer. He reassures the two hostages as he arrives. After a few moments, he's face to face with Riley. You must stay true to your word, Riley. I'm going to take Kaboo and walk back. Of course, I wouldn't dream of crossing you. But before you go, can I say one thing? Make it quick. Riley clears his throat before speaking. It echoes throughout the large hall. He's gonna fucking do something. He's gonna do it. You should have never trusted a politician. We're all dirty, especially King Velasquez. Or should I say, my true employer. Dun dun dun. Endymon looks shocked, unable to move. Did Riley just say Velasquez was his boss? Why is the king hiring everybody to fight each other? I mean, that's so counterproductive. No comment, actually. I thought really hard, and then I'm like, wait, I'm an American citizen, and there's someone in office that kind of does that kind of thing. Well, no comment. Did Riley just say Velasquez as well? This must go deeper than any of us thought. Riley uses this momentary confusion to make his move. He runs his blade along Kaboo's throat effortlessly. Oh, why did he slit the otter's throat? Come on, man. He squirms and falls to the ground in a puddle of blood. Riley, you bastard! He reaches for his daggers, but not fast enough. Riley plunges his knife into his gut multiple times. After the final stab, he twists the knife around. Endymon falls to the ground, making the puddle larger. Riley stands there with a sadistic grin, laughing. Kaboo and Endymon both are dead now. Great, great. Endymon, no! Conrad lunges forward, but Riley intercepts him. He holds Conrad in place, stopping his attack. Player looks horrified, staring at Kaboo's body. But his grip against Kaylin tightens. He's panicking. Riley walks over to his pawn, still laughing loudly. Do it, player. Kill Kaylin. He's the biggest thorn in our side. If you do it, we'll be unstoppable. Player gulps audibly, his body shaking.
Player, don't do this.
Righty interjects, still holding Conrad tightly.
It's not too late to become a freed man. Riley has been using you all along. There isn't any real proof of your crimes. But if you kill Kalen, I can't help you. There will be witnesses to your crime. Do the right thing here. Surrender.
Wait, who's Kaboo? Kaboo is a blue otter. We were introduced to a lot of these guys like back in like episode 2. Friend of Kalen apparently, and interestingly, and this is I don't. This is probably the first episode you're watching, but a lot of these fursanas, at least most of them, are actually tied with actual fursanas in the fandom. For example, Rook the Ferret was introduced in like one of the first episodes. And ironically, I met them because I write as an editor for Flera, and I recently published an article that Rook the Ferret from this game actually wrote. It was like some sort of review of some sort. And at that point, I'm like, wait a minute. Because like I was just playing this, and I'm like, hold on, this is that Rook the Ferret? Because he had the image as his avatar of this character. And then I found Keela, and then I found Kalen. Kalen is actually one. Clace is one. So yeah, I don't know if Righty is and Player is and Kaboo and all these guys. I don't know. Like I haven't done like a full-on search, but it seems like most of these characters are actually personas, which is interesting. Yeah, and we killed Rook. I know. I made mention of that. I'm like, I just killed a fellow contributor to my website. Why did I do that? He'll never forgive me. Anyways, and I really do regret that decision because I did realize that the Eclair thing was kind of that's horrible. But anyways, no regrets. Let's move forward. I'm against Velasquez's will, you know, so I'm not acting in a way that helps him. I want to help you and even save Kalen. Player, we've come too far to back out. Everything we've worked for is on the line. I order you to kill Kalen right now. Player looks at Riley, and then at Kaboo's lifeless body. He presses a knife harder against Kalen's throat. Any harder and he'd start to draw blood. I know, killing contributors is bad business. But it might not be permanent if the game's storyline plays out, I think, because Rocker was there. Actually, no, it might be because I wasn't on good relationships with Rook, apparently. So, I don't know. We'll have to find out. You're right about that, Riley. Everything is on the line right now. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me, Kalen. He closes his eyes before he uses the blade. Almost like he can't attach himself to his actions. He adds a third victim to the floor, and more blood. Man, this is going bad. But it isn't Kalen's blood. It's Riley's. Oh, okay. He grabs his throat and squirms in pain. Player looks like at what he's done, mortified. What he's done, mortified. Now, I don't know, man. Like, when I was picturing the scene just now, like the two of them were not like right next to each other. They were like probably like 2 spaces apart. Like maybe I misread the scene or it wasn't described well enough. Because like I didn't think they would be like standing like right next to each other in arm's reach while holding hostages. I think they would have been spread out a little bit. So having him just suddenly like what a twist kill Riley when to me he's standing like 10 feet away doesn't make too much sense. But I'll have to re-watch the footage, I guess, and see if I missed something. Kalen uses the opportunity to break through. He runs towards Righty, gaining his freedom. As he sees this, he releases his grip on Conrad. Handyman. He immediately runs towards Endymon's body. He cradles him in his arms, shaking him softly. This isn't funny, Endymon. Wake up. Player runs to Kaboo's body and holds it close. With the violence gone, they cry over their losses. Kaboo and Player did know each other a little bit. I believe Kaboo was the servant of Player. I believe, if I recall, like it's been a while. Yeah, I thought they were a few paces apart. Yeah, okay, so I'm not the only one who thought they were not standing like right on top of each other to have a surprise slash. Okay, so it's not just me. Good. Brady and Kelly and I stare in shock. I'm sorry, my son. Oh, he raised him like a kid. All right. Okay. So yeah, that could probably stir someone. I would be surprised he wouldn't have objected to using him as a hostage in general. But it isn't over yet. Before any of us speak, we get visitors. They enter the room from the back as if they had watched. Oh no.
So this is what the revolution looks like. Pathetic. Wouldn't you agree, Nami?
Yes, Nagi, I agree. They're hurt so much over small losses. These men mean nothing in the grand scheme.
But I'm thankful they became violent. It helped me test out my little theory. Father's been deceitful yet again.
Big surprise.
Whoa, they just switched places. What? And they look similar, way too similar. They stare at each other with sly smiles. Who are these people, and why were they watching? I'm reading their voices in those lines of the Lion King's hyenas. Oh, the Ed and Sarabi. No, this is not Sarabi. Sarabi's the female lion. God, what the heck is it? Ed, Nettie. No, it was what was the female hyena's name? I know it was played by Whoopi Goldberg. I know that, but I can't remember her name. They stare at the sly smiles. Who are these people? The man or Nagi starts to walk toward me.
So you're the man that Father wants. I have to say, I'm surprised. I expected something different.
Banzai and Shenzi. Ah, yes, Banzai and Shenzi. I can't do Whoopi Goldberg's voice. That's one voice I know I probably couldn't do if I tried. I immediately hold out my sword. I've never used it before, so I mimic what I've seen. There's no way I could defend myself against them.
Don't be so stupid, Xavier. I just want to get a closer look.
I back up in time with his steps. There's no way I want this guy close to me. Righty stands forward and holds out his axe. He's leaving Kalen's defense for my own. Do it for the stream. Do it for the stream? I ain't doing Whoopi Goldberg's voice. Damn. Oh, sister act. Damn. Shit. I don't know. You know what they do to kids step out of their kingdom? What's it? Hey, did we order this to go? 'Cause there it goes. Oh, man. Anyway.
Well, at least there's someone my size. But it's useless. You can't stop me.
He takes this as a challenge and leaps forward. But I find it very hard to explain what happens next. If she teleported, Nami blocks the way. Wait, Nami was the dude, right? She extends an arm and punches Righty right across the room. He hits the wall with a thud and falls to the floor. He's motionless, knocked out cold. He leaves me and Kalen alone in defense.
Thanks, love. He was starting to get on my nerves.
He continues to walk towards me. I try to back up there, but I hit the wall. He grins at me, knowing I can't go anywhere.
Do you have any idea where you are? Do you have any idea what's inside you?
make eye contact with Kalen. I could tell he wants to help, but it's pointless. Anyone who could take out Righty is just way too powerful. I give up and try to run, but it's useless. Nami appears on my side and pins me to the wall. Nagi holds out his sword as he approaches me. Father tried to trick us. The power that he isn't within Terra. For some reason, it's within you. Before I can think, I'm skewered on his blade. He stabs it deep into the wall, pinning me in place. My body lights up in pain as I start to bleed out. He twists the blade into me, intensifying the pain. The gear on the base of his sword starts to turn. I can feel myself becoming weaker. I'm dying. Looks like we've won the race, Nami. Well, that escalated quickly. Yeah, I'm dead, man. I didn't think it'd be that easy. And say before I unleash this.
Here's to the future
Yes, to the future we create. He pushes deeper and the gear spins faster. I feel like it's draining me of my very essence. He terrifying grins and I have to look away. Moments later, my vision fades. Misspelled. The last thing I hear is players' cries. They weep over the family they will never see again. For on that day, they became only memories. Still, no decisions have been made. This has all been just playing through. Several fire. This looks pretty modern. I smile as I run down the halls of the... Every day that passed, my odds got even better. The pop star contest had become a worldwide phenomenon. Okay, so this is going back... All started out as sort of a quote-unquote Willy Wonka sort of a thing where I won this thing, concert of some sort in Tokyo. Now I'm having like, I guess my life is flashing before my eyes, so I'm remembering the pop star thing. So stocks rose and stores sold out. Everyone wanted to win. I got the golden ticket. Tried not to drink too much, but it was addicting. Oh great. An addicting substance that I gotta get a gold ice. Not only the caffeine, but the prize that waited. Everyone wanted to live the life of luxury like that. We all had we just wanted to melt away. And I ended up getting stabbed for it. See, this is the lesson, kid. Don't go for your dreams, you'll end up getting stabbed. There were so many stores I could choose from, but I had a local joint I liked to stick to. It didn't get much business, and I thought that would help. I suppose that's something like a gambler's hope. The less used machine will pay more, right? At least that's what I told myself every single day. Nobody had won yet. We're still in the world. Wild. I turned a few corners and ended up at my favorite store. The clerk greets me as usual inside. I walked inside. I notice a new addition. They have TVs without an apostrophe. Wall. Some sort of news report about the contest was airing. You couldn't go a minute without hearing of it. It's not the whole world. It's not often the whole world unites like this. I don't know, have you ever seen a solar eclipse? Whoa! I walked a little deeper into the store. For some reason, they kept the cooler in the back. Maybe it was to tempt me with their other choices first. I wonder who I'd meet if I won. I'm sure the people running the tour would be awesome. At least, I hope that was the case. I'm having weird flashes of individuals in my face. Some people can be all business and no, but I'm sure Clace would be great at least. You hear all kinds of things on the news. Oh, am I gonna meet Clace? Am I gonna meet the game creator? Clace is an actual person. He's the game creator. But to be fair, he did kill off his character really quickly, and we never really met the dude. So that he was young and had a long career ahead of himself. But let's not forget about the people behind the scenes. There were those no one even knew about. Not everyone liked the limelight, after all. That was Jade. She hasn't been on camera all that much. It starts to radiate in my head. I hate headaches. I've been getting them a lot lately. Probably all the caffeine. I do my best as I arrive at the cooler. But when I get there, I notice they're sold out. Did somebody come and buy out their supply? Shocker. That was Shocker, I believe. He hasn't had a lot of screen time, too. I quickly turn around and walk back to the clerk. It's extremely unusual that this place would sell out. I decided to talk what's going on. The clerk shrugs and says they have lots. He tells me that I must have overlooked them. That's weird. I'm not the type to do. The headache gets more intense and I stumble. I press myself against the counter for support. The clerk asks if I'm okay, and I signal that I'm fine. I look at the TV once again. The report has changed. Now they're talking about murders or something? It's a shame, but live in. Maybe we were using the contest to mask our flaws. I decide to give it a shot and check the cooler again. Anything, so I have nothing to lose. Before I can get there, the pain returns. I have a moment to take a moment to brace myself, holding on. It gets worse despite all of my coping techniques. I try to call up for help, but no one comes to my aid. And just my body gives up. My hand slips from the shelf and I fall to the ground. My head crashes harshly against the linoleum floor. I expect, but that's not what happens. It's like the fall flipped a switch in my mind. It's at that moment that I remember everything. I immediately rise to my feet and clutch my chest. I expect a blade to be stabbed through my body. I pant heavily before realizing that I'm fine. But I still rest against the shelf, utterly confused. Why was I here before I won the contest? Who were those people that attacked us? What happened to our ballroom? How could I get back to help them? I'd have to win the contest, wouldn't I? But this store is all sold out. I could have sworn this is where I won. After that thought, one last memory returns to me. My pocket, and sure enough, there it is. The replica can that Singe gave me in our meeting. I gulped audibly and looked at the clerk's direction. For all this was a winning can. I didn't really have a choice. I'd have to use this. It's the only way I could get back and try again. Perhaps this time, things would be different. I walk back and laugh, telling the clerk he was right. He rings through the purchase and I pay him promptly. I leave the store, certain of one single fact. This was how I won my place in Clace's world tour. Effect BS. Apparently, it's like, oh yeah, I won. Yay. Number 8, Chapter 8. I'm jolted awake and cry out for help, but quickly I realize this was an overreaction. Fully in my body uncontrollably shivers. I'm covered in a layer of sweat that feels like ice. Hi, it's okay. Take this, it should help you out. He must have noticed my shivering. He places a blanket on my shoulders. I wrap it around my body tightly and look up at him. I ask him what happened and where we were. You were thrashing about in your sleep. You passed out after the bombing incident. I'm not out. As you can see, we left the building. We're in an underground bunker now. You can rest easy, we're safe. He takes a deep breath, and as if it was... He leans back in his chair, giving me a slight smile. So I was thrashing about in my sleep? Was that whole thing just a dream too, then? We have a lot to talk about, you know. So much happened and all so fast. I shift my body around and rest my feet on the floor. This whole place smells almost like the prison back at Player's house. The events of the ballroom play back in my mind. I'm gonna have to turn it down just a little bit. Music is Conrad lost Endymion, and Player lost Cabot. I wish there was something I could have done. Archeron must face. He places a paw on my shoulder and comforts me. It's okay. I know what you're feeling. We are more alike than you think. I laugh softly, instantly doubting him. I don't think he has the same weight on his shoulders. Life is full of hardships like this. But one thing is the same. We all have regrets when we overcome them. Mine would be my lack of honesty towards you and everyone here. But at the same time, it was necessary. I gotta make sure I'm saying the Aussie and not the Arc dude. Lack of honesty? What does he mean by that? I don't even know where to start. It's my story. It's important that you know everything. I believe that you've met Ryo before, and I believe that you've been to the Ark. These are a couple of things we have in common. That was the last thing I expected him to say. I stare at him in sheer confusion, speechless. Perhaps his story goes even deeper than I... He granted me a portion of his power. The ability to stop time's flow. And with that, he gave me an objective. Supposed to protect all of you. Everyone in that convention center. Seemed an easy enough task, right? But he gave me some opposition. Someone bent on killing all of you. Strong. Yeah, I'm sure you figured that out. It was the arms heiress visiting Japan. Or should I say, my sister. Her true name is Archon Armstrong. Youngest in the Armstrong family line. But I've since abandoned that name. He continues unleashing revelations. More of the puzzle pieces fall more connected than I could have guessed. Ryo pitted sibling against sibling. One to protect and one to kill. Forces of life and death in our hands. He turned contest. If any were left standing, I would win. But if everyone were dead, Max was to be the victor. The prize was the Ark itself. We would get to rule as life and death would cater to our whims. So this was a game to Max. If she won, she could undo the deaths. That and bring back our sister. Ryo telling me about this, he said that he wanted a worthy successor, but he never mentioned Archeron to me at all. I was under the assumption that it was only Max. I hope that things make more sense. That was the true nature of what happened. The truth behind the convention center. So this was all just a battle to rule over the Ark. And we all got caught up in my role. Ryo said he had to watch me as well as the contest. But why would Ryo want to lead the Ark? He said he was bored and lonely, but that can't... There has to be more to the story than we know. Either way, the battle's over. Max can't get you down here. In a few hours, I will rule the Ark. He lets up. Max relied far too much on her power. but I only ever used it myself twice. Once to plant my resume in Jade's office, and the second time for the evacuation. Max was extremely eager to compete with me. She took care of the previous guard. I needed to enter the tour naturally. But after that, it was child's play. I know how. Pushing her buttons was incredibly easy. I asked him why he's so sure of his victory. If Max had the power, there was still a chance. No, there's no chance. We were playing. She fell into our trap far too easy. Our trap? What does he mean by that? I was only open with one other person. It was Singe. He knows everything about the Ark and our powers. We formulated a plan together. He's a genius, to say the least. That, and a very talented actor. Singe is involved now too. After this, I won't have any questions. Max planned all along to involve weapons. It was very easy for us to exploit this. Initially, Singe fought back against it. We needed power. It made it more believable when he caved. At that point, she was getting cocky. Her staff loaded the building with weapons. Everything was going her way. She went on to kill Clace, the previous guard. That's when I entered the scene. The contest would last for only one whole day. Midnight tonight would be the battle's end. It was important that we remain passive, but to play a frightened role. No sudden movements, he'd say. We need Max to believe she was winning. That's why, he looked away from me before continuing. That's why we let Rocker and Rook die. It needed to look like I was failing. This made Max even more confident. Tensions rose in the convention center, tensions that made me seem inadequate. People were fighting amongst themselves to leave, but they couldn't. Singe was playing his part. Max was clearly winning, it was obvious. So, it was my turn to act. I pretended that my resolve was wavering. These people were dying on my... How could I ever guard anyone again? I put on quite a show for all you. I even acted at the press conference too. I still feel bad about the outburst, but it's important to showcase doubt. Max had what she was completely in her pockets. Her brother wasn't able to outsmart her, and everyone was still in one place. It would be so easy for her to win. That's when I decided to meet up with her. It was all going according to plan that we team up. She said we could kill the rest together, but she didn't know I was recording. I got her to admit that she was the killer, but she thought she was just converting me. That is extremely smart. Actually, it's almost unbelievable. But one part irks me about all this. It implies that they willingly sacrifice lives. I'm not proud of what we did either. But it was either them or... I'm sure you know that feeling as well. Either way, we worked with the police. The bomb going off was their signal. Instead of coming in, they set a perimeter. I did agree to work with Max. She believed that she had my allegiance, according immediately. I gave it to both the media and the police. Maxine Armstrong is completely ruined. Receiving the recording was their signal. After that, they'd attack the building. But everyone except for her would be gone, and assumed a lot, of course. First, that she'd use her weapons, and second, that she would confess to me. Okay. Critique time. Mr. Game Designer. Exposition, you know, nostalgia critic. Here's the thing. Earlier on in this game, I saw a lot of events. Now it's as if you took. It's weird. It's as if this game took the critique that I did earlier, put it into this part of the game. Earlier on in the game, we have a bunch of like events where we could see characters that were not revolving around me interacting with one another and getting some background on the story. Even though and the critique I made at that time was, you know, should I really know all this, or should like I not know about it until it's explained to me by a character in person or something like that, or something. But at the end of the day, there is a positive to that. You can kind of see the emotions play out in real time. I would have loved to have seen Max get her comeuppance, right? I would have loved to have seen that scene. I would have loved to have seen this scene in actuality, because we saw up to him were interacting and getting in, you know, and her getting him on his side and blah blah blah. But all this stuff he's talking about, I don't see it happening. Like I'm reading it happening, but I'm not seeing it happening. Like even though they're just still scenes, it's kind of a letdown. If this is how it's going to play out, if this is how this game is resolving the Maxine conflict, it's big disappointment. Like, I cannot even tell you. It might even ruin the whole game for me. Like, just flat out saying, like, if this is how the Maxine conflict is resolved, by him telling me about his plan and how it was executed, instead of seeing that very plan executed into his victory, I will be completely just like, dude, no. You won an Ursa Major for this crap. No. Like, oh, I don't know, man. I'm hoping that this is some sort of fabrication and that the real conflict really isn't over, but, man, I really hope. I mean, it's chapter 8. There's still 2 chapters to go, so I'm sure that, like, something's got to be going on, but I don't know. But anyways, that's like my 5th one tonight. Next save point, by the way, is going to be end of episode. And next week is going to be Sonic Mania because it's finally coming out for PC. Maybe you'll butterfly effect again. Yes, maybe I'll do that. Maybe see what happened. But I know that's how she works after all. I was certain it would unfold this way. That's why I gave him tactical signals. Trust me, she's not winning. If they didn't catch her, she'd lose control of the company as well. Oh, so he doesn't know if she got caught. That's an opening. She's gonna be very angry with you, by the way. I picked that exact time to evacuate. She'd be caught up in saving her own life. She knows where we are. I believe that's what you call checkmate. 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 Yeah, mate. This was crazy to say at least. I know. Learning through this Thrall exposition dump, this is absolutely crazy. But if anyone could do it, it was... And the fact that we're here confirms it. The strategy involved was unfathomable to me. I know, it's getting thrown at me all at once. I was just an unlucky soul caught in the middle. I don't know what your role really is. In fact, I don't know if... But he'll be coming here shortly anyway. He has to take me to the Ark. Or, should I say, my new home. Perhaps he'll have some answers then. I'd suggest taking a walk around. Everyone's here. They're resting in a separate bunker. I still thought it'd be wise to do this. If Maxine found out about the bunkers, she still wouldn't be able to win. But for the first time, you're safe. I'll enjoy this evening with everybody. Soon as well. I nodded and returned to my feet. He was right. Things were coming to a close. I slowly walk towards the exit of the room, but before I can leave, Archon calls out to me. I quickly turn back and look at him. Strong enough. For what? Wait. Can I keep you for one more minute? There's something that's been on my mind. I take a few steps back toward him. I'm all ears, and ask him what he wants to say. Well, it's about the Armstrong name. Why I left it behind. It's more related than you may think. I press my back against the wall and listen. I guess he assumes there's no holding back. If he's about to leave for the Ark, he should talk. Let's see. Where should I start? Parents. That is, until about 5 years ago. They were working on a new chemical weapon, but it was too much to do on their own. They had to require investors and fast. The company pockets only went so deep. So they scoured the globe. It didn't take long to get what they needed. They held a meeting for the investors, a chance to show what they made, potentially to get more money too. But it wasn't so simple. Chemicals can be very volatile. I'm sure you can guess what happened. Sorry, I just had to throw that. The chemicals went off by accident. Luckily, I was watching from outside. Well, I guess lucky was a relative term. I guess I watched my parents die in agonizing. They clawed at the glass, begging for help. Yeah, I'm making light of a dark situation. It's what I do sometimes, deal with it. But there was nothing I could do. Max was beside me as well, shocked. Had her eyes covered. After this, the family was in disarray. Our older sister was thrust into leadership, but she wasn't trained. None of us were. The whole world had its eyes on us. Some important people. We tried our best to cover it all up, but you can't cover up memories. These events affected families everywhere. We weren't the only ones who lost people. It took a while, but we recovered. Business was good and we traveled lots. Eventually we ended up in Africa. A dignitary wanted our lords had threatened him, so the Armstrong siblings went for a visit. He requested our latest weaponry. Its eyes. Its eyes? Oh, it is eyes. Oh, no. I didn't see that one. I was getting too into character. Yes. It is apostrophe S is not good. Yes, if it's not, no. It is, if it is, it isn't, if it isn't is, then don't put the apostrophe there. Oh no. The grammars, man. He requested our latest weaponry, so we had to bring some explosives. He was very nice to all of us. He gave us a tour of his massive estate. Then he wanted us to meet his son. I was more than ecstatic to meet him. It's always nice to make strong connections. It was empty. He started crying as he told us the truth. His son had moved to America a while back. He made a fortune investing in companies. One of those companies was Armstrong. He broke down and kept asking us why take his son away from him. But none of us knew what to say. The next thing I knew, we were passed out. He must have drugged the meal he gave us. I would have never guessed he had a past like this. He always seemed so calm and collected. I asked what happened, and especially how it relates to current events. Well, I don't know, when you almost die, I mean, you kind of take every other day for granted, I guess. Well, we were separated when we woke up. I was tied to a chair and he was there. My older sister was tied to a chair too. Me. Oh, how cliche is this? I know where this is going. See, I mean, this is the thing, when you're a writer, you kind of like, they try to make connections and stuff like that. So what's going to happen is this. The dude who hates Armstrong is going to only save her brother or her sister. Like I did with Rook and... was it Keela? Keela, yes. Exactly, like those two. And I bet you she was put in the same... Maxine was put in the same exact situation. And that's kind of why she went with that. So yeah, but she was in a room farther away. This is where it gets familiar. Yeah, I already beat you to the punch, sir. We both had bombs strapped to us. He left the room, and Max had to choose. Would she save her or her brother or his sister? I begged her. She was the head of the company after all. I was nothing, and I didn't matter. The man wanted us to experience his pain. But Max told him what we already did. We lost our whole family in that incident. Unfortunately, he was too far gone. What he wanted was revenge. And we were the only remaining Armstrongs. It's kind of ironic, isn't it? He used the same weapons we bought. We provided him with the means to do this. I begged and pleaded for my death. It seemed like Max's choice was obvious. The reason she wouldn't do it. She let our older sister die. I still remember hearing the bomb. I heard the moment her life was ended. The man came in to free me. As soon as he did, I attacked him. I wanted to kill him, I really did. Armed, and he was stronger. And that's how I got the scar on my face. Wait, that's a scar? I thought that was like paint. I'm like leaning into the screen right now, and I'm looking for like an actual scar. See one? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Unless that red streak is one, but I don't think it is, because he's got like a blue V around his neck too, so I thought that was just paint. Anyways, I'm going to ignore that statement until, or keep that statement in the back of my mind while we go on. He mocked me with a knife. That's not a knife. This is a knife. Yeah, I thought it was just a mark II. Like, I don't think that is the scar he's talking about. I don't know. That's not a knife. This is a knife. He marked me with a knife so I'd remember. He was never heard from again after that. Max and I ran back to America. She promptly inherited the entire company. A little convenient, wouldn't you say? I think that's what she wanted all along. She took the opportunity. That way she'd get to run the company. But then, did she kill our parents too? Was she responsible for the accident? If she was, she finally got what she wanted. At that point, I decided to run away. She told me one final day, you'll know what it felt like. She swore that she caved under pressure. It had nothing to do with the inheritance. Her body just went on autopilot. But I would never know for sure. At least, that's what I thought. Ordeal. And of course, what does she do? She sets up those bombs and makes me watch. I saw the look on your face. The look of fear and indecision. How could you choose between Keela and Rook? It would be even harder if it were a family. Send that message. She wanted me to see what it looked like. And it's not a pretty sight at all. But it did nothing to prove her innocence. She's not above killing to inherit. It's what she's doing now for the Ark. To that end, the message loses validity. It's hard in accents sometimes to say certain words that you're not used to saying in certain accents. I'm still left with this scar. I remember it every time I look at myself. Which is weird, because I don't see it at all, dude. So, I'll take your word on Max's betrayal. I thought you deserved to know. There was a reason you had to choose. And it was only to prove a point to me. I'm sorry you had to experience that, but Maxine Armstrong is insane. She killed to take over the company. Shock. There's nothing she won't do. Now, I don't know why Singe agreed to help, but Armstrong is a heartless company. I wouldn't be surprised if he was a victim. But I'll give you one piece of advice. If you ever see her again, run away. All the better. He crosses his arms as if he's done talking. I notice a slight glisten in his eyes. You don't need to give me a reaction. It's just something I wanted you to know. You can leave this room as you see fit. I nodded, him unsure what to say. I'm satisfied with learning so many things, but must have felt. One of the first things I'm going to do, I'm going to bring back my sister. She'll make the world a better place. And I'm very sorry for lying to you. I hope you can learn to forgive me. As I said, lack of honesty is my regret. I couldn't risk the operation. This time, I was forced to lie. I would never have done it otherwise. He smiles at me, with nothing else left to hide. Then he returns to his chair, ending the conversation. It's true, he could bring her back if he won. I assumed he could do all this. It would take a while to process all this information. But at least some of the biggest questions were answered. I leave the room with a sense of satisfaction. Would you like to save your game? Yes. And still, no decisions were made. No sessions were... This entire 2 hours that we just went through together had absolutely zero choices. This is the first episode where I went from one end to the other and ended on the save file. So just so you're aware, every time, any decision, big or small, so far as between different saves, there's only been 13 groups of save points that have had some sort of decision, whether they be large or they be small. I have 5 true flag endings. I don't know how many I need, maybe 10. I have no idea, but I don't think I'm going to get the true reasons. For number 1, Rocker's affection wasn't high enough. You know, I don't know. Like, I don't think I'm going to get the true ending. I think I've made some mistakes here and there. But that's going to do it for tonight. I'm thinking that this is actually getting pretty close to wrapping up. Because there are, I'm pretty sure, probably about halfway through Chapter 8. I'm not sure. But I'm going to call it here, and we're going to take the pause. So I'm going to get the hop out of here. It's been a nice 2 hours, and thank you very much for everyone who showed up tonight and had fun in season the chat. Well, a writer showed up and pointed out all the grammatical errors that I overlooked while I was voicing characters. Because I do notice some things, and I did notice some things in prior episodes that I was like, critique. And, you know, so it's always fun to bounce that off of other people. And same with Golden Bonnie. Thank you very much for showing up. And if Mr. Strangelove is still listening, or if you're at work, hopefully you're wrapping up the meets really quick. Next week is going to be... it depends, weather pending, I might actually do it live in suit, because it's an action game, is Sonic Mania. The reason I don't do these reason, it's reading, and you cannot read in a fursuit. If it's an action-oriented game, I gave it a function. Like, there's a video in the past that I did Overwatch in fursuit, playing as what's his name, Winston. So yeah, every Friday night, Eastern Standard, or Eastern Time, I should just say Eastern Time, because it's standard or daylight, whatever it happens to be. I will be playing a furry game of some description, live on this channel. So if you hit the subscribe button if you want to show up again, or just mark it down, I'll have the things. I'll try to. I'm trying to get better at doing that. But have a good night, and I will see you next week on another episode of this streaming thing. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good one.